So Shuki is CEO of Gumio. Gumio is doing a lot of interesting things. I'll actually let you describe it, but
Sure.
you have actually kind of gone through a number of different models, and it continues to refine. But now what we're going to focus on today is your work with helping bring small businesses and even larger businesses into the mobile world. We alluded to that in the past segment, the benefits of having a mobile presence and the detriments to not having a mobile presence, and then also the best practices of how, not just the why, but the how. So first, a few words about yourself and about Gumio.
Gladly. And I'll be brief because I know I'm between you guys and lunch. So we've been working with publishers and media companies for over 6 years now in mobile, which is a long time, and working with small businesses for about 5 years. Our main product is My Site Anywhere. It allows small businesses to create a cross-device website directly or through a do-it-for-me model. And we work very closely with local media companies, integrating it into their directories and other efforts.
Excellent. So let's talk about first the why. I mentioned the why and the how. Why do you need to be present in mobile, and not just present as we just spoke about with Derek, but present in an optimized manner? And this is underscored by the data we get from Vsplash. I think I mentioned this earlier. 2% of SMBs have an optimized site, and it's a majorly missed opportunity. If you look at the user behavior of showing up on a site that isn't optimized, Google says, if you do have it, I alluded to this, 51% of users are more likely to purchase from retailers that, and this is in the retail category, but I think it's more universal as well, that have that optimized experience.
Yeah.
You get more engagement, and on the flip side, if you don't have it, you're going to lose people likely to your competitors. Anything to add about the necessity to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll take the statistic from the other side, because this is mainly coming in from the consumer side. And true that 5 years and 4 years and even 3 years ago, we would speak to business owners and explain to them about the problem from the consumer side. We would start with, don't you know so many of your customers are already on mobile? Well, today, the business owners already caught up to it. Yep. 65% of them own a mobile device, so they understand that.
Good point.
They pull it up. They'll do their own Google search to see if their business shows up, and if so, can they click and schedule an appointment? They understand the problem hands-on.
And I think that broadens the opportunity because it's an easier sell. Our local commerce monitor, which is B.I. Kelsey's survey, in which we ask SMBs at various spending levels what their buying behavior is, and often a leading indicator to their spend is the devices and the media that they are using as consumers.
That's right.
So this is interesting because SMB owners are mobile users, so it's something they get. Compare that with some of the things that we've been trying to kind of sell to them over the years, such as search engine marketing and other things that might be a little more opaque. Yeah. Mobile, they get it.
That's right. Mobile is an easy sell for them, and I'm talking from experience. And specifically when you're hitting 2 points, two key pain points for them. One is cost, and the other one is complexity. It's way too complicated for them to get a true, not just online experience, but definitely online and mobile experience. Yeah. And it's very costly. The setup could be, Cousin Joey can charge anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 to get you set up, and even then you get set up with a WordPress site at best case.
Yeah, and it does depend on the site functionality you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So let's move on to the how, and this is just some kind of best practices. And one of the themes that emerge here is simplicity, which makes a lot of sense. But I'll let you kind of unpack it further.
Yeah, we took a different take on this after many years of being in the channel. The first thing we did is we took a step back. We asked ourselves, okay, what are we going to do different here? And we interviewed many SMBs and decided that what we want to create is something where we don't ask Joe the plumber to suddenly become Joe the web designer. We don't want him to drag or click or insert just one line of JavaScript, which now assumes that you have a massive support arm. We need to take and think differently. We need to completely separate the technology problem from the business goals that the businesses are trying to achieve. So touching into the second point of the easy onboard process, you have to create something in which you can communicate with the SMBs. And the only thing that they're willing to communicate today is to tell you about what they're trying to do. Right. I'm trying to set up more appointments. Mm-hmm. I'd like the phone to ring more. The last thing they care about is if they're buying the 2.5 gigabit package or the 4.3.
Right.
The other thing is regarding self-serve or...
Well, let's stay on onboard process for just a minute. I have a question about that. There are advantages and disadvantages of some models I've seen out there where businesses are basically crawling websites
Right.
to automatically create a mobile landing page. The advantage being that it creates something that you can show the small business, look what can be done. It's an easy way to populate it. However, that limits the market to businesses that have websites.
That's right.
Two, it might not be as personal, but I think that there's probably a sliding scale there. What are your thoughts on that, the scraping process?
I don't believe in the scraping
You don't
process.
believe in it?
No, I don't. I think it's at the end of the day, it creates something that helps you within the next 6 months, but it doesn't really create a good, solid online presence. Nothing that the business will be proud of. And when you're selling this product to the business, you want to sell a quality product. The expectation from the business owner is pretty high today.
Yep.
And you want to meet that expectation rather than creating something that just works today.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so this is another kind of sliding scale.
Sure.
Self-serve, which is more scalable. Do it
Right.
for me is more quality, but it's harder to execute.
Right. I think, unfortunately, what we've experienced is you got to have both.
Yeah.
You got to have a strategy that, on one hand, you have. So we have a do-it-yourself tool in which the business can answer a few questions and automatically comes a website that works on every device and is optimized for these business goals. But we also back it up with a do-it-for-me model for those businesses who might not be even comfortable starting the process or went through the process and got stuck or don't even have a logo.
Yeah, good point. So we talked about calls to action with Derek. Make sure that they are aligned with the lower funnel mobile user. Calls to action that may be buried on your website, but they need to be surfaced higher. Anything to add on that?
Yeah. Calls to action, and specifically when you look actually at what Google is doing right now with the enhanced campaigns and with site links inside the enhanced campaign, they're very important. And it's important in the mobile environment, I'll echo what Derek says, to be very concise, to float that click to call at the top of the page versus maybe on a pure web or desktop environment, you would hide it at the bottom of the
Makes
nav bar.
sense. So analytics, how important is that? Well, again, with the kind of theme of simplicity, you don't want to overcomplicate analytics, but still
Sure.
you want to show businesses that they can kind of track their behavior or their customer mobile behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. We've created a one-page analytics with 4 or 5 data points on it. That's it. Just total number of calls, total number, just so you can click and see, what, this website works for
Yep.
me. And then behind it, we obviously link to a much more deeper analytics, and it's amazing. Most businesses just want to know that their website works and deliver results. That's their main concern right now. I'm sure that as they get more and more involved, they would really dig into it. But when you're talking about the broad, the 80% of them out there, they just want to see the high level.
So social integration's next. We'll save that for the next slide because that's
Sure.
more about kind of generating traffic.
Sure.
On these kind of design UI principles, responsive design, you're big on that. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'd say that in the last 3 years, we started from the point of creating 2 separate experiences. And the majority of the industry still thinks in a website and a mobile site. But that's really not the case today, and that's not something that can create a useful experience for the consumer.
Well, the
or
device
business owner.
continuum, you have tablets, first of all.
Right.
Then you have these tweener devices of
Sure.
everything. The Samsung Galaxy S4 that just came out. That's
Right.
a 5-inch screen. You see even bigger than that. And, it's just, there's this device continuum, and there's no more definition anymore of what it's.
Well, that's true. You're starting from the mobile and you're scaling all the way up to the desktop. But those are just the devices that we're all thinking through today. And coming up within the next few years, the same consumers and the same business owners are about to spend an hour and a half in front of another device that no one caters to, and that's the in-dash display in the vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
And we're just not thinking about this. But providing the businesses today with a responsive design solution allows you to serve today a product that can scale from our scale from mobile to tablet to desktop all the way to TV, and is optimized for each one of these devices.
And we were talking about this earlier at CES this year, which is usually a good kind of beacon of what's coming out. The innovation in the television world is kind of flat. It's just more 3D. And, in smartphones, there's nothing hugely new or revolutionary.
Right.
What really came out of CES this year was a lot of in-auto technology and a lot of communication in there. So I think that's an area to watch. So we don't have a lot of time left, but let's talk about moving from the strategy of mobile presence and design and UI to then, once you have that site established, how do you get traffic, generate traffic, and make sure that it's optimized in terms of search and all these other things?
Well, definitely the lead there is Google's enhanced campaigns. And out of that, I'll simply pick a feature that I think is the most interesting, and that is the site links. Anyone, just raise of hand, which, do you know what site links are? Anyone? Okay. So I'll explain. What site links are is they allow to tie directly to the ad unit actions on the site, such as click to download, click to call. You could even say that with these site links, you can completely bypass the website. Just go directly from the ad to a click and not even need to step through the landing page, whether you're trying to download or purchase something or schedule a visit. That's very important. I still don't think that invalidates the site, but that's just a great example where the mobile experience, where you just need to click and perform an action. And I think the site now is starting to establish itself as the need for establishing credibility. Rather necessarily than action, because action you can completely satisfy with.
That's interesting because it's very user-centric and eliminating a step, but also the customization for the advertiser or the business to, based on whatever their goals are, do I want to book appointments, do I want to generate calls? It allows them to send users directly to that in a way that's more user-friendly. So I think, interesting that everyone kind of wins on that one. So I think, and also with enhanced campaigns, we talked about it earlier with John, and, it really hasn't even been fully rolled out yet. I mean, it's been announced, and there's so many great implications. So we're going to continue to watch this very closely as, BIA Kelsey as a firm and all the great companies working in the space. So we're going to continue this dialogue. So that's probably a good place to leave it. We're actually going to go to lunch now. Lunch is sponsored by Axiom, and we're going to be back in here at 1:30. So we'll see you then, and thank you. Please join me in thanking Shuki.
Thank you.